thanks for joining us. As Dr. Kurt said, we're going to take questions. So I'm just going to see if I can see the questions.
There you go. So I'll let you monitor that, and you can see what questions there are, and hopefully you don't get any feedback there. But hey, Katie, thanks for joining again every Friday, and Michael, I know you're with us again tonight, and every one of you viewers, thanks for taking time out of your day. I know here in the States, it's a weekend. It's a beautiful day up here where I'm at. And for those of you down in Australia, it's a wonderful Saturday morning. You guys are kind of rolling out of your winter, right, Katie?
Yeah, we're just coming towards the end of winter now, and so it's nearly spring. We're sort of 12 days out, approximately 13 days to spring. And actually, my mum was just saying she's going to open the window in my bedroom because there's jasmine, and they're already starting to come out, and it's a spring flower. So,
all right. Yeah, we're rolling into the end of summer, and so we're also opening windows. I shut the AC off a couple days ago, and I've got all the windows and doors open in the house to let all the fresh air in. Man, I love it. I love it at night, and it gets cooler temperatures, and all that fresh air. It's really good for your health, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Now, Kurt, since you're the one that's actually gone live on Facebook, I can't see them. I can't see the questions. So if you can, see what you can see. You could make me host, and then you could read the questions if you like.
Okay, here, hang on one second. Let's see. Well, we don't have any questions yet, so I'll watch it. I'll monitor it as we do this, Katie, and see what we get for questions. Okay.
Okay, sure. So what are we going to talk about?
Well, somebody asked me today. She said to me, what do I do if I have just been diagnosed with lupus?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever been presented with that one?
Yes, people have asked that before. So that is a great question. And generally what I'd say to someone is, you know what, I'm going to connect you with Dr. Kurt, and he will have a chat with you.
Yes, that's what you do. But Marsha, who was just on our last call, boy, doesn't she have a wonderful testimonial on her lupus?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. And so that's what I share with people is I say, here's a video of somebody that just went through lupus, and she had some wonderful results. And I want you to watch this testimonial that she did, and then let's talk. But so my friend today that had been diagnosed with lupus, I said to her, first thing first, you have to go on a gluten-free, sugar-free, processed sugar diet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, that's key. That's key with an autoimmune disorder, because they trigger the immune system to go haywire. And what autoimmune means is that the immune system thinks that cells in your own body are foreign cells. They look at it as like a bacteria or a viral cell, and so it starts to attack yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good. And so I try and explain to them that, first of all, we got to get the immune system to kind of back off a little bit. How do we get the immune system to not look for things to attack? And science, or Harvard, came out with science here 2-3 years ago, and they said that a form of niacin, nicotinamide riboside, actually could do that. They found that nicotinamide riboside actually triggered the immune system to start kind of backing off and not attacking the body. But once it had balanced the immune system out, then the nicotinamide riboside, the form of vitamin B3, would actually go back and reverse the damage that it had done.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's amazing.
So which of our products that we have, it doesn't use nicotinamide riboside, because nicotinamide riboside is actually the stomach acid, and the liver destroys like 60 to 70% of that. So we've actually used nicotinaminic acid and ribose rather than using nicotinamide riboside. So if you want to talk a little bit about the product that has that in that, Katie.
Yeah, so of course, Dr. Kurt's talking about our famous H pill, the Sisel H pill. And from memory, Kurt, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom Mauer Sr., who's our product formulator and has put together this fantastic formulation, he said that by using that combination of those two ingredients, the ribose, and I thought it was niacinamide, but that's incorrect pronunciation. But by using the two together, that he said it can last up to 4 times longer in the body than using straight NR, which a lot of the NAD boosters on the market use the straight NR, whereas ours uses those two ingredients combined. And he believes, and we can't say for sure because we can't make claims, but Tom Mauer's opinion is it will last up to 4 times longer, which is why we get such fantastic results with the H pill. And, you know, the testimonials really speak for themselves. We just get such great testimonials. So, you know, this is a great product. And the H pill, of course, helps us in many ways, like Dr. Kurt's already been mentioning. You know, it helps to improve energy production through boosting, supporting the body to boost ATP. And of course, NAD decreases as we age. So, you know, the older we are, the less NAD our body produces, and our ATP production goes down. And so basically, we really want to support ourselves if we want to improve our energy. So this is a great product for that. And then the other two things the H pill is great for is it helps to cleanse the cells and clean them inside and outside. So, you know, as we get older, our cells, well, even, you know, at any age, our cells are producing waste as a byproduct of just producing energy. But our bodies, when we're younger, is really efficient at getting rid of this waste. As we get older, it becomes less and less efficient, and it starts to build up, and it clogs the cells, and the cells get clogged and slow down. And that's why we start to feel old and we just don't function as well. And this product really helps to support the body to get in there and get rid of that. And it's called, you know, lipofusion and the buildup of glycation. So we're really addressing 3 factors that impact aging and health. And so, yeah, I really love the product.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many testimonials, isn't it? You know, and like we were talking about with lupus, in this particular case, you know, we can't make any medical claims. It doesn't cure lupus. It doesn't cure any disease. But according to the science on the ingredient, it actually helps with balancing out that immune system, and that's really, really key. That's important, not just with lupus, but with other types of autoimmune disorders. Even, you know, you think of rheumatoid arthritis, you think of MS, and things like that. And then the other product that I told her about is I told her about fucoidan, because fucoidan, it has such really good anti-inflammatory effects, and so what fucoidan does, it lowers the inflammation and it helps to balance out the immune system. It's like an adaptogenic herb in some ways, that it helps to balance out the immune system, and so when you combine it with the H pill, the two are like a 1-2 punch, don't you think?
Fantastic, great combination. And I love that fucoidan supports the body to manage inflammation. You know, I recently hurt my shoulder at the gym and got really a lot of inflammation in my shoulder. And I just started taking, you know, 3 doses of fucoidan a day, almost, Kurt, using it as a bit of a pain relief because it did help to reduce the inflammation. And so I love that product. And you're absolutely right. That's a 1-2 punch there with the H pill and the fucoidan combined together.
Yeah, and then you know, I mean, let's just stay on the subject of lupus and autoimmune disorders. So the next thing we really need to talk about is that, you know, a lot of times what's happened is that there's not just inflammation, you know, systemically, but there's inflammation in the joints, there's inflammation in the soft tissue. So I recommended to Rhonda, to my friend, I recommended using Super Omega, and the EPA, the part of the fish oil called EPA. There's 2 primary oils in fish oil, EPA and DHA. And DHA is used primarily for making new brain cells, but EPA is used for getting inflammation. And have you ever had anybody tell you that fish oil really helps out when you have inflamed joints?
Yeah, I mean, oil, yeah, fish oil is essential. You know, it's essential fatty acid. That's why it's called, you know, EFA. Contains EFA. So definitely. And it's great for, they also recommend it for women to help with period pain. Again, that's an inflammatory response. So I love this product. Actually, and that brings me to a question for you about the product. Is it safe for somebody to take a double dose of that? I mean, I love it. Is that okay? Or, can you do a double dose of the EFA if you needed to?
Oh, yeah. I actually read a study. I want to say, it was back about 10 years ago. And they were recommending for people that had any type of degenerative arthritis that they start taking 20,000 international units, IUs of it. It's not measured in milligrams; it's measured in international units. And so at that time, I mean, think about 20,000 units. Most fish oils are only 1,000. So that means you take a 20-time dose, not just a 2-time dose. You take a 20 times dose.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so we can do a double dose on that. So that's great. So actually, I do have another question here that somebody asked me just yesterday. It was about a peanut allergy. What could somebody take if they've got peanut allergy? You actually recommended a few things here, which I've got in my notes. So maybe we could talk about that one.
Okay. Well, let me finish up with the lupus. There was just one other product that I recommended for her. I told her to take the Body Shield and Spectromax because of not just because of the the fulvic acid. And you and I have talked a lot about fulvic acid.
Yeah,
in fact, since we started talking about the importance of fulvic acid, Sisel's had a run on the Body Shield, haven't they?
Yep, they ran out because you were talking about it. I was talking about it. Jenny Lovett was talking about it. People have been sharing it. We discovered how really essential fulvic acid is for the body, and it does so many great things. Not only does it help to support the body to heal the gut, any gut damage, it helps with absorption of vitamins and minerals. It also helps with protecting the body against radiation. It also helps the body to bind to glyphosate, which we're all exposed to. I mean, it does so many great things for the body. I mean, Kurt, this is such a great product. I've even put both my dogs are now taking it.
Yeah. My dog takes it every day. I never really thought about it, but like when you see animals eating dirt,
yeah,
you know what they're craving? They're craving humic acid and fulvic acid. They're craving minerals, and I found a way that I can get my dog to actually take all the triangle of life.
Yeah, how's that?
Well, he loves milk, and I know you're not a milk drinker, but my dog loves milk. And I've tried to give him almond milk. He won't drink it. I've tried to give him coconut milk. He won't drink it. He looks at me like, throw this stuff away. I want the real stuff, right? And so I especially buy him milk. Even if I don't drink it, I give it to him. And I found that if I mix the triangle of life into a cup of milk, he drinks it up. He loves it.
Wow. How much do you give him?
I give him a full dose, just like what I would for myself.
Really? How much does he weigh?
About 85 pounds.
What is that in kilos?
So what is that? 85 pounds. Probably about 28 kilos, probably.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. He gets a full dose. Great. I was giving Milo the full dose, and then I thought maybe it was a bit much because she weighs 22. So I cut it back, but I might increase it a little bit because, she's getting on, and I'm trying to stretch her health span as long as possible. But anyway.
How old is your dog? Is Milo?
He's 16 now.
16. Yeah. Chewy's just coming up on, I can't remember if he's 11 or going on 12, but so I just say 11 and a half.
Okay. Great. Well, actually, what I'm really excited for to give Milo, and I think it's going to make a big difference. Dr. Kurt and I are very, very excited when Tom Senior brings out the new product, DeBomb, which is a senolytics product to address senescent cells in the body. They're cells that have reached end of life, and they accumulate, obviously, as we get older. And so this product's coming out. We don't know when, hopefully soon. But I would love to give that product to Milo, Kurt. Could you imagine? I mean, we would see the great thing about giving it to my dog or any dog, is that you're going to see the effect really quickly because, dogs don't live as long. So the impact, and also I love the saying, Trevor said it, dogs don't lie. There's no placebo effect in the dog. You can see the results in the dog, how the dog's mood and energy levels improve. So I'm really excited for her to add that to the regime and just see if we can't give her that even little bit more health span, a little bit more lifespan.
You bet. And Katie, I was just reading a newsletter from that I get every month from the SENS Research Laboratory, which of course is from Aubrey de Grey.
Right.
And Aubrey de Grey is kind of father time. He's kind of considered one of the iconic figures in the anti-aging world. And he said that senolytics is one of the most important unexplored areas in age reversing medicine. And when Tom met with him at the World Congress of Stem Cells last year over in Spain,
Wow.
they were actually discussing that, and Aubrey de Grey said, yeah, this is going to be one of the most impossible things to do, talking about senolytics. And Tom went home and started working on it like almost immediately, right? And
I just told him it was impossible, and he's like, I don't think so. I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, so he figured it out. But here's the problem, and this was Tom and I were discussing just on Tuesday morning, just 3 days ago. He said that some of the ingredients, it's not that it's an ingredient that's hard to find, but it comes in such small amounts that that it's really hard to concentrate. And obviously, I mean, if you take a berry and you're taking one little ingredient, I mean, you probably take an elephant-sized room full of this fruit, and you extract just this one ingredient from it. You're probably you take an elephant-sized room full of this raw ingredient, and you probably end up with a cereal bowl full of the actual extract. That's how little of it is in the fruit.
Right. Wow.
Right.
So it's expensive and it's difficult to extract and hard to obtain, obviously.
Hard to obtain, and that's exactly it. But it's such a powerful ingredient because they found that what it does when Katie, the reason Katie and I are so excited about it is that just imagine that you can take all the old, dead, dying cells out of your system and throw them out. And that's what's supposed to happen, is that your body has a built-in system that tells your cells you're done now. You commit suicide. It's almost like Hillary Clinton's working with them. But it tells the cell. I had to throw that in there. Sorry, a little bit of politics. But anyhow, it's like you tell the cells, get out of here. You're done. Your work's done. Get out of here. And but because of the preservatives, because the chemicals in our environment, your body isn't getting that message. The message is all goofed up. It's like a signal that's not getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, Michael asked a question here. He asked me a question on Facebook. He said, and folks, we want you to ask your questions. So just type them into Facebook. I'm watching it as Katie and I are doing this video. But Michael was asking about, what can we do if somebody's got degenerative disc disease?
Great question.
It really is, because not just degenerative disc disease, but degeneration in all of the body and all of the different cells. The problem with degenerative disc disease and osteophytic formation, like what you're talking about, Michael, is that the disc has a very poor blood supply, and I'm not going to get into it really in depth, but the reason that God invented us with a very poor blood supply to the spine, to the disc, is because, can you imagine if all of a sudden you ruptured that disc and it started bleeding? What happens with dried blood? I mean, Katie, if you cut your arm, it bleeds and it creates a scar, but it bleeds out for a while first. And so, can you imagine if you had a bunch of blood dumping into the spinal canal?
Yeah, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, so now you got all that dead, dried blood in there, and you got a scab formation in the spine. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to start ripping up the nerves. And so when God invented us, he made it so that there's two little tiny arteries going into the disc. And so the disc has a very poor blood supply, and that's it's a good thing. And so when you damage the disc, it's very hard to repair it. And so I just want to say that first. So no matter what you do, the disc is going to take a longer period of time. But Margaret, out in Portland, Oregon. You remember one of the first testimonials we had with Margaret?
Yes.
And what did she say about? I mean, she had degenerative disc disease that was evident on X-ray, and what did she say when she started taking the age pills? Like 4 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, she said that scans, she had some X-rays or scans done, and they showed there was no sign of it.
After about 4 months. And so in answer to your question, Michael, I would really, really concentrate on taking a double, maybe even a triple dose of the H pill. And then, of course, like we talked about with lupus, you also want to take the fucoidan to get rid of the inflammation. You want to take the super omega because the EPA gets rid of that inflammation. And then another product that I really like too, when we're talking about degeneration or arthritis of any kind, is the Eternity product. We talked about it on the call tonight, didn't we?
Yeah. So yeah, what we'll do is that call, we'll split it so we can have that little segment on Eternity and people can watch it. It'll be up on your channel.
Yeah, because Eternity, what it does is got resveratrol, and so we can't make this claim about Eternity, but we can make this claim about resveratrol. What resveratrol does is it supports healthy sirtuin gene activity, and I'll let you explain a little bit about the sirtuin gene and how it works with the DNA, with damaged DNA, Katie.
Yeah, so the sirtuin gene is the youth gene, and that gene actually gets turned off when it's turned on when we're young, and then after a certain age it's turned off. And what the resveratrol does is helps to turn that back on. And science says that I don't think even they understand 100% the mechanism and how it works, but they found that when that gene's actually turned on, it has a really powerful effect on protecting the body against free radical damage. And so it is in a way considered an antioxidant, even though I don't think it's fully 100% understood. And so obviously that's really critical because we want to protect our DNA because we're getting bombarded by all this environmental stuff, and we're breathing, even just breathing air, we're exposed to, sun radiation and all sorts of things. And so basically our DNA is getting attacked, it's getting damaged, we're getting assaulted by these free radicals. And so we want to basically support our body with, antioxidants. And as I mentioned, they've found that resveratrol can play a really major role in protecting the body and helping to combat that free radical damage. Is that accurate description?
I totally agree with you. Yeah, you bet. So, then you mentioned the peanut allergy.
Yeah. So, yeah, go on.
Just tell a little bit about your friend, the question you had with the peanut allergy.
So somebody was saying, what if somebody's got a peanut allergy? Is it anaphylactic, where it becomes life-threatening? That it's so bad that if they consume peanuts or crumbs of peanuts, that they die. They have this really severe reaction. And so the question is, what sort of products could someone take to help support the body to manage that better, or potentially, support the body to help it improve the situation. So yeah, Kurt, do you want to talk through? I've got your notes actually in front of me. So yeah. I mean, I could read them or you could talk to that.
Yeah, so my answer first, of course, is you want to make sure you avoid all things that have peanuts and peanut oil, right? Because, there's peanut oil that they slip in with things and you don't even know it's there. They use it in place of other types of cooking oils and things like that. So you want to be careful on that if you're having some problems with that. But again, talking about fish oil, the EPA, it helps to balance out what's called the arachidonic cascade. And what that really means is that when you're talking about a arachidonic cascade, your body gets exposed to something and your immune system says, hey, this isn't normal. It looks at it as like being a foreign body inside of your cell, and or inside the body. And then it builds an immune cell. So it builds a memory and it says, hey, if that guy comes back, let's remember who he is and we won't let him in next time. But if he sneaks in the back door and he gets in there, then your body starts to attack. And then once he's snuck in a second time, now what happens is that now your immune system kind of goes crazy and it says, let's build up an army to fight this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what you have is you have an army. And so instead of one guy going to the door and saying, hey, no, you can't come in, you got 100 guys that go rushing the door. And when they hit the door, they knock the door over and they knock the door down on top of them. And you can imagine the collateral damage because of that.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Yep.
I mean, you get a vivid picture of how I'm describing it.
Yeah, you're doing an analogy. That's great. That's why I'm laughing, because it's kind of funny, because I've got these pictures yet we're talking about.
Right.
You know.
But if you make it so that people can understand it, they can picture that. They can picture 100 guys running toward the door because you got one guy that they don't want to let into the building, and now they're attacking it, and they can picture that. That's what's happening. And so what the EPA does from the fish oil is it says, hey, let's back off a little bit. Let's check this guy out. Let's make sure that he's okay. Maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And so that's what the fish oil would do. There's another oil. It's called peryllic acid or peryllic oil, and it comes from different things like safflowers and things like that. But and there's a few other good benefits for peryllic acid. Tom and I are actually talking about that one as well. But peryllic acid is gonna stop that arachidonic cascade, that rushing of the army toward the door. And we don't have it in any of our products yet, but I know that we will.
Okay, so it's coming. It's coming. Okay, yeah. And the other products, of course, we've already talked about Body Shield, so that will help to assist with the gut, because it has, for all the reasons I've mentioned before, which is important because the immune response is coming from the gut, isn't it?
Yeah, and people say, well, I don't have a gut problem.
Right.
You know, they think when you say, oh, you have a gut problem, they're thinking, oh, I have diarrhea, or oh, I have constipation, things like that. And you have to say, look, here's how the gut is put together. There's cells and they're tightly packed together like this. And what they'll do is, like, if you need vitamin C, it'll open up and it'll let the vitamin C pass, and then it closes back up. When you need B vitamins, it opens up and it lets the vitamin B in, and then it closes back up. And when you need calcium, it opens up and it lets the calcium, and then it passes right back. And that's what they call a semi-permeable membrane. Mm-hmm. And it's controlled by the microbiome. It's controlled by the healthy bacteria. And what ends up happening is, because of different things, chemicals like Roundup and different things like that, glyphosate, what it does, it destroys that normal semi-permeable membrane. So what happens is that the membrane stays slightly open all the time. Mm. And so now what happens is those different things can pass through when they're not supposed to pass through. And not only that, incompletely broken down proteins, so proteins that haven't been totally digested, can pass through. And once they pass through, now your immune system does what we just talked about. It develops this attack mechanism, and rightfully so, because it should. Remember, our immune system is based on caveman days. Our immune system is still old. It's ancient. It's developed on killing bacteria.
Right.
And so it looks at those incompletely broken down proteins as being a bacteria. And so, of course, it's going to attack, and it should attack. But the medical approach is well, let's stop it. Well, if I stop it, aren't I actually destroying your body's natural protection? And aren't I actually going to make it worse in the long run?
It would seem logical that might happen. Yes.
Yeah, so logical, just like you just said, I like that word. The logical and natural approach would be, hey, why don't we fix the gut?
Yeah.
Why don't we zip that back together?
Mm-hmm. And
you've heard me talk about this enough. What product does that?
Body Shield, and that leads into the next product too, Spectramax. So Spectramax has got the fulvic acid in it as well. And it's got the minerals and some key vitamins in it. You've got some antioxidants. So that's another great product. You know, it's a liquid. And so, you know, you've recommended that those two products be taken as well. And then you've also then added at the end there to suggest taking the H pill.
Yeah, because the age pill then, like we talked about with the autoimmune disorder, like with the case of lupus, same thing with an allergy. An allergy is an autoimmune condition. It balances that out. And it's backed up by Harvard science, talking about the nicotinamide riboside, which of course is one of the ultimate goals when we're using a nicotinaminic acid and ribose, is that your body's going to make its own nicotinamide or niacinamide riboside instead of taking it through orally. Your body's going to make it by giving it the building blocks, and that's essentially what we're doing with the H pill.
Fantastic. Great. So it's really interesting when we have that discussion, because a lot of things have really come back to the immune system, and there's a lot of things that like cross over. A lot of the products that we've been talking about can support, by the sounds of it, many immune issues going on with the human body. So yeah, I just love our products. And, and if for those of you listening to the call, if you want more information about any autoimmune condition, there's a great gal in our team called Marsha Schultz. So I give a shout out to her, and she's got a Facebook page, Healing Autoimmune Naturally, and she just shares her story about what she did. And so you could find some information there. But, really, I thought it's also important to add, we can't claim to treat, prevent, or cure any disease or illness. These are just our opinions, and we can't make claims about our products. But we can, as Dr. Kurt has said, we can talk about the ingredients. And of course, you should always follow the advice of your physician as well. So I just thought I'd throw that in there since we've been talking about all stuff.
Well, I just want to answer one final question. Michael said here, he brought up the perilla oil, and Michael, exactly, that's the oil I'm talking about. Helps balance out that arachidonic cascade that it's called, and keeps that in check. So, Katie, I think it was a great call. Yeah,
great. I felt like we were just having a really good conversation. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed what we've been talking about, and you've got some good tips, and it's added some value to your day, week, year, life. And thanks, Michael, for joining us, and thanks everyone for watching.
You bet. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.